Hey, this is Scott, back with you again. We're still on client acquisition. Now, earlier in this video series, I talked about client acquisition that does not work. And we threw out a whole bunch of stuff, I hope. I hope we made a difference there. We made sure that you stop doing things that don't work. Well, here's what I get asked for probably the most of everything that I do and the coaching that I do. And by the way, this does not replace one-on-one coaching, but it's the next best thing. And I'll talk you through exactly what I do and what works now, and exactly what other labs across the country that are having success, what they do. And it's all going to boil down to the very focus, and this is what I'm going to go over now. We're going to focus on what works. And I have an exact script, and I'll probably read some of that to you because we're going to include that in the program. So you'll get this written script, and you don't have to pull it out and read it when you get up to the desk. I'll read it so that things stay consistent, but I want you to just be natural and have read through that script enough that it kind of comes second nature, or you know where things are going to go. And young guys just getting labs started, then this is going to mean everything. And I'm coaching guys who have been doing this a while, and they've got no problem outselling, and they go talk to people, sometimes cold call, all the time. Sometimes that's the real fallacy here. They feel like they go out all the time, but they don't. And in my coaching, I hold them accountable to do marketing they should be doing. And so this is what works. Number one, I want you to make a display case. I'm going to write it, and you're going to have it there somewhere. The display case can be a few different things. You only need one. But it could be a full arch of implant supported all-on-4 or teeth in a day. It could be that finished full arch either out of acrylic or maybe milled zirconia. That'd be really cool. But make a display case that is something that you do well, that you can repeat, that looks incredible, and something that you're proud to show off, and make sure that it is one of your high profit products. We don't want to be out trying to sell something we don't make any money on. So, and that's one of the reasons I mentioned the full arch all-on-4. It can be, if you make good money, or so a diagnostic wax-up is a really good lead-in for a case. So if you want to just take a beautiful diagnostic wax-up, sometimes that's enough. I'd probably rather it be something else, probably something along the lines of implants. It could be a single implant. It could be something like our invisible abutment implant, something that looks great. It could be a complex case, and something that you are a hero with. But let's come up with, number one, a display case. And this is all in preparation for the selling, the marketing, the client acquisition that actually works. So we're in preparation. We're going to do a display case. We're going to get photos, and so we're going to say that's number one. Number two is photos. Now the way we're going to use these, they could be photos of this case, but even better are pictures of a different case and maybe even before and after. That's really hard. It's really hard for a lab to come up with, and I understand that. I'm a lab. But if you can get them, before and after cases, pictures of a case that you did fabulously well, they're worth money. You want these photos to not be your regular little 4x6 or whatever goes in everybody's photo album. They need to be a different size. So whatever that is, an 8x10 is big, it's maybe too big, but an 8x10 is great. That's what I like, because it catches your eye, and you know that somebody's not just being cheap handing out a photo. So let's think about getting a couple of great photos and making a whole bunch of copies of them, because that's what you're going to have with you. There's our second thing. This is not impossible. This is not hard. It's just something we need to do. So we're still in preparation for what works. This one is easy. A lab slip, prescription form. Here's the thing, make sure that it's one that you're proud of. Make sure that it has all of your information. Make sure that it has however you want to be told how to do your cases. But a lot of times the more information on there, the better, because a doctor feels like, even if he just is going to write 1 PFM shade A3, he had all of these options to mark off. And he could check how he wanted the occlusal stain, and if he wanted tight adjacent contacts or medium adjacent contacts, or he has all of these options, how he wants the occlusion. They feel a little more empowered, and it's bigger. It might be a whole page, a whole piece of paper that your lab slip is printed on, but make sure that you feel good about it, because it's something we'll use in client acquisition. We want them filling those out. We want them, that's what I use for a business card. I don't have business cards, I have lab slips. And if somebody says to me, have you got a business card? Yes, I do. Fill that out. So the other thing is, we want a flyer, and you may not want to start with a flyer, but you need to know that that's something that you're going to produce. In this paperwork and in what you get sent with this module, there will be a sample flyer. And it'll probably be about an all-on-4 case, something to do with implants, because that's my high profit center, and across the nation right now, that's where labs make their money. So it'll probably be something like that. And a flyer talking about your lab, you're not going to list everything you do on it. You're not going to list what all of your fees are. You're not going to list how wonderful you are at mouth guards and dentures and relines and By the way, our crowns are amazing, and we do 4-day service, and it gets so confusing. You know, they look at it and say, wow, great, thank you, that's really cool. Give them one thing. We're going to do one thing with them, and we're going to do it well. And we're just going to catch their attention on one thing. So, we know now what we need, and this is simple stuff. It's not going to cost us a lot, and it's going to be the things that will bring us success in sales. Now I'm going to talk to you just a minute about the work that's involved, because it's not just a slam dunk. It's not just, okay, I'll make those and what do I do? Send them? No, you're going to hand deliver them. And we're going to work on marketing every day. Not all day. We don't have time to do that. I know that. But we're going to work on it a set amount of time every day. And those days add up, and the hours add up, and it makes for success. And you know, it's like this. When is the best time to start a diet? A year ago. You'll wish you had started this little marketing plan a year ago. And success builds on success, and I promise it'll go fast. You look at it and you go, oh no, I've got to do all that. It's not all that. Just do it. It's just a little bit, and it's not all day. It's just an hour and a half a day, and it'll build success so fast you can't believe it. So I'm going to go on to what is the very first thing and the first visit that we do. So we've got all of this in our back pocket and we're ready to go. When we do our first visit, we're going to take either, not both, we're going to take a display case or photos and a lab slip. Now, what I recommend and what I'm going to go over in my script is we're going to take photos and a lab slip. That's not expensive, that's easy, and it's very, very simple. So I'm going to walk in and talk to that front desk, and I might, when I walk in that office, I'm going into an office I've never been in before. I don't know what to expect, and they're not expecting me. When I walk in, I might be standing behind 3 people lined up talking to this front desk lady. I'm going to stand there politely and wait my turn. And if somebody comes in behind me, I'm going to step out of their way. I'll sit down on the side. If there's no room to sit down, I'll stand behind 4 of them. And if the line's moving slow, I might walk out and go to the next office if it's within walking. If it's not, you know, if I've got to get in my car and drive, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stay here. So I'm going to pick up this this little list that I have, and this is a script that I'll use to walk in and talk to her. And I'm holding the pictures in my hand along with that lab slip. And I'm going to say, hi, I'm Scott with Riverside Dental Studio, and I'm here because we specialize in implant restorations. And I'm going to tell her, look at this beautiful work, and hand her the pictures. Now, a couple of things could happen. You know, she could hand them back to me. She could say, you know what, you're the 4th lab that's been here today. There's a lot that could happen. But if I still have the floor, I'm going to say, Notice the microscopic perfection. And I'm going to say our clients like us because our work saves them time and money. I'm going to ask her to please set those on her doctor's desk. And so, you know, there's a lot that could be happening. She might have to pick up the phone. She might have to look away. There could be other things going on. And I'm not going to try to talk over all of it. I'm going to wait until she looks back at me, and then I'll continue on with that. And I want her to tell him, because she's going to see him before I do, when he gets a minute, could you tell him that I came by personally? Thank you so much. By the way, what is your name? She says, well, my name's Mary. If I came back in the next couple of days, Mary, is there any way that you could find me a time that I could talk to the doctor, just in between patients, somewhere in there? Now, I'm not going to ask her that if she's really busy. I'm going to walk out knowing that those pictures are going to get set on the doctor's desk, and I know her name. Those are very valuable right there. Nothing I could have sent in the mail, nothing I could have done would end up on his desk. But probably there's an 80% chance those will end up on his desk. And on the back of them, I have a sticker that says, this is from Scott, or it says from Scott, Riverside Dental Studio, and has the phone number and the website. He'll probably never turn them over. He may throw them right in the garbage. But he saw them, and we know her name. So the very next time we visit, and this is going to be 1 week later, I'm going to go right back in, and this time I'm going to have a treat from Costco or whatever the big clubs are. I'm gonna have a treat that's worth like $6 to $10, and I'm gonna walk in, wait my turn if I have to, but when I get there, I'm gonna say, and on the treat, it's gonna have a sticker that says that same thing, from Scott at Riverside Dental Studio, and phone number and website. I'm gonna walk in and say, this is for you, Mary. And sometimes there's other girls sitting around, and I'll tell her, you can share that if you want to. And she'll always smile and act like she's gonna keep it for herself. Mary, is there a chance in between patients sometime today that I can say hi to the doctor? Now she's going to be serious about finding me a time, and I just need to have that available so I can come back. And so she's gonna say, you know what, today's really booked. Tomorrow at 3:15, he has a space right now that I probably won't fill. So maybe you could come back tomorrow at 3:15. And I say, thank you so much. And I write that down, and I make sure that I'm there before 3:15 to take that appointment. With the doctor, now I'm going to go through this script, but we all know things can change pretty fast. And with the doctor, I'm not going to step in and just tell him everything I know. I'm going to say, hi, I'm Scott from Riverside Lab. Thanks for taking a minute with me. And I'm here because we specialize in implant restorations. And I'll say, do you do all on 4 cases? And he'll say, yes, we do. And I'll say, that's great, because we're really good at them. And he'll say, well, I have a lab that's really good at it. Unless he's kind of upset at his lab, and then you hit there at the right time. But otherwise, he's gonna say, well, I'm pretty happy with my lab. And I'm going to say at that point, we're not trying to be your only lab. But we're a great lab, and I'm willing to say, use us as a secondary lab for your crowns, or your all-on-4, your implant cases, because when you get something that you need fast, our normal delivery is 5 days. We guarantee everything, and you'll love it because our crowns seat in 5 minutes. And there's 2 main reasons they seat in 5 minutes. And I can tell those to you, but I'd love to show you. Do you have a case that I could take with me today and I could prove that to you? Now, most of the time they'll say, oh, I don't have anything today, whether he does or not. And I understand that. He's not gonna just hand me what he has. But I hand him a lab slip, and maybe on this second time back, I hand him pictures that he's seen before, maybe. Or maybe he hasn't seen them, so he's gonna see pictures for the first time. And I hand him maybe a display case and say, we just did this a while back, I just wanted you to see what pretty work we do. If you've had the chance to ask him for a case and he has said no, then, and you've said, okay, use us as a secondary lab, ask him if it's okay if you visit back in a few days and just check on their office. You're highly interested to see if he would give you a case just to try. And if he says, no, we're not interested, then you can go away knowing that that's gonna be a harder one to crack. But most of the time, he's going to say, I'll watch for a case, or he'll refer to something else, or he'll say, my lab doesn't do gold crowns very well, do you do gold? Or he might say, I've got an all-on-4 coming up in 3 weeks. Do you want to come over and talk about it? Something that you have said might just spur enough interest that he's going to say, yeah, come back, let's go over that. But it has to be presented in the ways that I've just gone over with you. And you have to not be overbearing, and you have to not just tell him everything that you do all at once. And sometimes it's really nice if you ask him a question, or what kind of restorations do you like to see? Do you do mostly zirconia? Do you do mostly Emax? Or how do you split those up? And do you have a lab that does great cosmetics? Because that's what we specialize in, is implant work and cosmetics. So as you can put these things in, those are the most important points. Now, if you have the chance to go back a third time, I'll talk you through that. I'm going to go back to the very first. When you first go in and you say, hi, I'm Scott, I'm from a lab, the front desk person is going to say, I'm sorry, Dr. Smith is with a patient right now. Every one of them say it, and whether he is or not, he might just be sitting in his office with his feet up on a phone call or whatever. He is with a patient right now. And my answer to that is great, thank you. I would like to speak to him sometime. Could you, in the next day or two, find a place in between patients that I could come and visit with him. That works more than half the time. If that didn't work, then make sure you get her name, and I'll talk about doing the phone call in the next segment.